When you do not know what you like and who you are, it becomes very dangerous for you, but also for other people. You structure your life to be externally motivated, and that can also be very dangerous. And I've discovered that one of the biggest pieces that you could do to push and develop your identity, my dear friends, if you're facing this situation as well, is sometimes you have to walk away from great things. You have to walk away from great opportunities. You have to walk away from great people, because without that, you won't be able to see how challenged you can be to evolve as a human being. I don't have a specific structured plan other than knowing that I want to help you guys in building out this channel. 4.5, 5 years ago, if you were to have asked me, Lana, would you take a pause on your 12-year-long relationship, take a pause on your career, and also go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt to go on the other side of the world to study and travel and basically know nothing about what the future holds? Would you do that? And my answer would be like, heck no. What kind of crazy person would do that? I have stability. I have a game plan for my life. I got everything figured out. And this boom, boom, boom is what is going to happen in my life. But guess what? I became that crazy person. And I want to explain to you in this video why I had made the, shall we call it, drastic choices that I had made, because I do believe that the risk is very much worth the reward. What I have discovered is, if you are not going to make the tough choice, the choice will be made for you. What choice am I talking about? The choice of being reliant on a job, being reliant on a partner, being reliant on any type of other external factor outside of yourself, and allowing that to dictate how you see yourself and how your day goes. I've come to this realization as I'm growing older of how much we shape ourselves based off of what society tells us to be. And this is like an old adage, everyone knows this, right? But when you actually go and experience it and see your friends go and experience it, you're truly just like, oh, I don't know about that. So many people are going to continue down the path of the status quo, let's say, rather than going out and exploring. And I'll explain why exploring is so important, especially within your 20s, in my opinion, or even in your early 30s as well, or whenever you want to go and explore. I'm going to give an example of how much we are reliant on society to shape our actions and also our thinking. This baby basically interacting with this toy that the person on the other side, the researcher, was giving to them. But the moment there was another individual that came in that told the researcher, you're bothering me with this toy, the baby immediately just pulled back and didn't even dare touch the toy afterwards once it was given it back to him. So it goes to show how we as humans are socialized to make other people happy growing up. And there's this lovely video that I came across from Healthy Gamer Gigi's channel. And he basically has this like podcast style, and he talks about how we truly want to make other people happy all the way up until our brains truly begin to form around the mid-20s, late 20s. And we suddenly realize that our identity is not what we had expected. In fact, some of us don't even know what we want or what we like, because what has shaped what we want and what we like has been these external forces. And we've been scared to take that risk, to explore and discover what we want, what we like, because that is what society has told us to do. This is what the identity crisis happens. He talks about school. You know, we have a goal that we set for ourselves. I want to get A's or B's or whatever, right? And then at a certain point in time, there is structure provided to you to say, hey, after grade 1, 2, 3, whatever, up until grade 12, you're going to follow the structure so that you could reach your goal. And then you go to university for 4 years and then your master's or PhD, whatever. A lot of people stay within the academic realm because if they're not doing research, they're kind of scared of what the real world is going to provide for them, or they can't find a job because the job market is so tough, so they'll just keep going into debt for research. So then what happens is all of a sudden you're in this corporate world, you're grinding, and then you make it, you know, in whatever, I shouldn't say corporate, but any type of job. And then you're just like, Okay, so now what? So then you're climbing the corporate ladder. You're getting promotions. You're going for the next project, and you have deadlines that you have to meet. And every single one of these factors are a driver, an external driver of what you need to get done. And then you shape your whole life around this structure of, okay, work is number one. I need to get this deadline. Oh my gosh, there's so much rush. Oh my gosh, there's so much stress. And then you begin to lose yourself because you realize that the passion you had for the arts or the passion you had for the sports or your Dungeons and Dragons games has been lost because guess what? You no longer have time for that. You had to start a family because society told you or influenced you to do so. And so all of this factors into the challenges in developing one's identity or even reshaping one's identity in your 20s to 30s. This is what Healthy Gamer has spoken about. So then you keep looking. You look on social media, you're like, oh, what's that person doing over there? Oh, what's she doing over there? And you then start to feel inadequate. But then something happens most of the time. And there's something that just like, let's say you're doing a job and you're just like, I can't stand this anymore. And you're just like, what am I doing? What is the purpose of all of this? And that is essentially the eureka moment that I had. And again, the drastic choices that I had made to shed my current life so I could take on many different challenges. So, what is Lana's objective here in basically giving up everything in her previous life? Her objective is to reestablish, rediscover, shall we say, what her identity is. And that's going to take two things and two risks. The first one is exploration. When you have a lot of exploration, followed by commitment, you are able to develop your identity. This is one of the pieces that Healthy Gamer talks about. The problem is, if you are to constantly explore because you don't want to give up on any opportunity cost if you make a certain commitment, that becomes very dangerous because not only are you most of the time not, shall we say, more or less settled on an identity, you are also taking other people for a spin. And the second aspect of growth, and this is an issue as we are developing ourselves, is foreclosure, which is basically no exploration and choosing a specific path because something in the external gives us a hint or tells us that, hey, if we take this path, we would be really happy or we are aligned with this identity. So take, for example, Lana was made to be a consultant. Lana was made to be a doctor because she was really good at academics, which I was okay. I was just really perseverant. So then what happens with this is you develop this identity based off of what other people tell you or other hints of society tells you. And that works for a little bit because it's safe, because there isn't that much friction against where you want to go. Key to developing your identity, per what this Harvard psychologist said, is to do stupid things. Do stupid things that you're passionate about. And eventually, these things that you do, these activities, you'll be able to set up a process. And that's when you begin to really realize, okay, this is something that I actually like, and this is what I don't like about it. This is who I like as a friend and who I don't like as a friend or a partner as well. There are three other to-dos that he also talks about to develop your identity, which is first having autonomy, which is basically you actively going out and choosing to do something. And you have to do that and beat procrastination at the same time. That is the most challenging part because once you have this sense of autonomy of, hey, I made that choice to do something, you then have a sense of ownership. And I don't want to digress, but I will have basically a video series of seeing things differently so that it can help you with procrastination or how even karma is seen. So I'm super excited to put that out for you guys. The second piece is competence to build your identity, stretching your capabilities beyond what you thought was possible. I knew that my current life does not allow me to push me to my limits. I mean, work definitely does, definitely pushing me to my limits, but there are other aspects that I have not pushed to my limits. For example, how far can my body go in terms of dance, in terms of my voice? How high can my voice go? But I need time to, take care of this. And then the last piece is relatedness to develop your identity. People that you interact with are a mirror for yourself. If you see someone that you don't like, whether it's a trait or something that they do, it is an opportunity for you not to blame the other person, but to reflect, why is it that what this person is doing or who they are bothers me? What kind of values does it bring up in me that upsets me? And this is a very important point, to do reflection. A lot of us don't sit down to actively reflect. We don't like to sit alone. We literally sit down and scroll over social media to get those dopamine hits, but that's only going to be for the short-term benefits, and we've always heard that. So sitting with yourself and actively reflecting is very important, but you do that through interacting with other people, or I should say after interacting with other people, so that you begin to see why certain people you like and why certain people you do not like. So there we go. There is my framework as to how I am taking this on day by day. And I would like to say that this is a very raw video, because I could have made a video for you guys where it's like, I threw everything away in my life at 27 and I found this success. But guess what? Life is not like that. I don't know what's going to come for me in the next year. I don't know how my brain will think. I don't know the decisions that I will make specifically, but what I do know is I'm going to be building myself in the moral fortitude so that I can be strong enough to have other people, lean on me, and specifically, especially for myself, to have myself lean on myself, because I know that I could do it. And most importantly, I know that you could do it. If you're watching this video because you are having basically a similar situation where you're trying to make a big decision or many big decisions, many big life decisions, and you're like, I'm not sure if this is the path for me, and you know in your gut that something's off, go ahead and think about the 3 to-dos that I've just talked about in the identity, and also think about which ones have you taken so far and what are ways that you can push yourself to see how far you can go. So that's all for this video. I hope that I can see you in my next video to talk about a different way to see karma.